2014, 2015, 2016, I don't know. Or Scout, you want to help a colleague?
If I may, colleague,
please.
you wouldn't feel
Please do that. But you see what I'm doing, we putting them on the spot literally, but figuratively I'm saying, we got to be able to get the confidence that if we are not going to make it, let's at least have an idea of we're not going to make it, we're going to miss it by. Yes, please. Scott.
Absolutely. If I may just bring some perspective to this, and definitely a clean audit, I share your dream. I believe in this country there will be a day and a time, and I'm not going to put a date to it. But we've achieved a lot in the last 10 years.
Sure.
We have promulgated the MFMA in 2003 and celebrating 10 years. Local government was the only sphere of government that adopted GRAP or accruals. That was a bold step. It's also no monkey business. It's not for the faint-hearted.
Sure.
So I don't think we've done bad in that area. We're a country that came through a history. Skills are not found behind every bush. But there is some great achievements in the sense that, if I may share this, we had a very small municipality in Limpopo, and when we wanted to ascertain, is the skills scarcity real? We put an advert in the paper. We had 27 graduates with accounting 3 and auditing 3 that applied in the small municipality of Makuru Tamaga. The facet confirms that there's 300,000 graduates that's unemployed. So I think we've made progress. If you look at the programs that SAICA has put forward, there is progress. But it's not going to happen maybe in 5 years or 10 years. Maybe we should also acknowledge that it's not all doom and gloom.
Right.
That we have done some things right, and that there are leadership. I mean, there's a couple of municipalities that you'd never expect is going to have a clean audit, and they've done it.
They've done it,
That's a good accomplishment.
Councillor Naidu, let's come back to this accountability side of things as well and ask. You obviously work in one area, but you share information and notes with your counterparts from other areas. What is the temperature gauge they're telling us? Are you going to remain the exception? Or are you going to move to the point where you're at least the rule, that you're one of the many, the majority of municipalities in South Africa that are getting it? Because honestly, I don't know why we shouldn't get a clean audit anyway. Let's face it. If you go by Adrian's example, that if we understood that this is our money we are spending, even if you are not, are we going to achieve this thing?
Yes, I think as South Africans we do have a common goal, and everybody is striving towards clean audit.
Right.
Obviously, we're at different stages of this for various reasons. But I think what is important is that we continue to share this platform here. I mean, it's a superb and excellent, opportunity to share information, to share knowledge, etc. So we need more of this, I think. We are very hard. As South Africans, we are actually very hard on ourselves. We have, as our colleague has just explained here, we have achieved a lot. There's still more to achieve. And I think just working together, we can really get there. As a Tungulu, we definitely working towards our 2014 deadlines as a collective.
Use of consultants, because we've talked about governance, political will. If we admit there are areas that don't have skills, hey, give consultants a break. Some of these municipalities could use consultants and get systems in place. What is the chance of that happening? And would you advise that with proper control and not blind use of consultants, there's a chance that we could accelerate some of this progression towards the clean audit?
Thanks, Program Director. I will refer you to the AG's presentation on entities that have used consultants and have had a clean audit.
Right.
And there are those who have used consultants and are sitting with disclaimers.
Yeah.
So one of the things that Frank Chikane says to his board is people are thriving in chaos.
Yeah.
It's good while there's chaos to make money out of the system.
Oh, for sure.
Because one of the biggest single issues is that these service level agreements that are signed with consultants are merely just for compliance sake. No one holds these these consultants accountable. And I have a view, I do come from the environment, and I have a view that consultants have a role to play, a big role to play, but we mustn't hide behind them. Consultants need to equip all these interns, all these teachers, all these... They need to equip them so that when they sit in front of an audit committee, they are able to articulate at least what they've been advised to do. So there is a role, but at this stage, I think it's working more around getting the work and getting the money, and skills transfer tends to be, there is discussions around it, but I don't think somehow there's a blockage in the transfer. Let me put it that way.
Right. I want to ask you to step to the podium again and share with us your best practice, features of a winning municipality. But before I do that, there might be one or two questions or comments. If they are made crisply and very, very, very straightforwardly, please. Let me see how many people would like to say something, whether it's a question or a comment, but I'm going to ask you to write it down in 20 words so that when you say it, you don't give a context, and we might struggle to fit you in otherwise. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Be honest. If somebody has already said what you wanted to say, don't, for the sake of it, step to the microphone. Let's take 3 and hear where we are going. And while I ask Ayanda, you might address some of these, because I don't think you'll be. Let's see what the questions and comments are. Please write it down in 20 words before you stand up. It's going to make life easier for us. We are a bit pressed for time. Let's get the roving microphone and set the tone for Ayanda, so that he can also address some of the questions or comments.
Excuse me. I just want to find out from the speakers there that, do they think that clean audit is possible under the following circumstances? 1, the absence of ethical leadership. 2, absence of skilled oversight bodies. 3, absence of skilled officials and decision makers. 4, undue political influence on officials. Willful overriding of internal controls by management, and no consequences for wrongdoing by officials. For example, irregular expenditures, fruitless expenditures, so to say, and ineffective sales delivery. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. I'll reserve that one for you, Scott. Not because but the areas are directed at you. Not everything, but the bulk of them. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That was very done. That's what I meant when I said crisp. Not because I don't like to hear people talk, but we don't have the time. Sir, carry on.
Thank you, Program Director. My name is Rajesh. I'm with the KZN COCTA. Just a few comments around skills in local government, just to share with the room. One of the things that we in the province, and I think it's a national initiative, municipal managers and chief financial officers cannot be vacant for more than 3 months. So that's something that we want to do to plug the skills gap, and there's legislation to say that if they act for more than 3 months, they've got to get permission from the respective MEC for local government. So clearly that's one area to address skill. The second area is that national treasuries come up with the minimum competency levels for chief financial officers and municipal managers. So if you want to manage a budget of over 500 million rand or 500,000 rand budget, you would need to have certain minimum competencies, and National Treasury is driving that initiative. The colleague from National Treasury spoke about 1,750 interns in local government at the moment, but this is a continuous financial management grant where the intention is to build capacity in local government. So currently there are 1,750 interns in local government. But if you go back, he mentioned being there for 10 years, a number of interns have already been skilled in the sector specific. So there is skill in the local government, we believe. As COCTA, we've also partnered with SICA. There is the AAT program, which is the accounting technicians, where people don't have the basic bookkeeping skills. We as the province, we're trying to get municipalities to skill the very junior staff. So I thought I'd share that with the room, program director. And the last comment, I think we also need to respect, as provincial and national government, we support and monitor our colleagues at the local sphere. But we need to respect they are an autonomous sphere of government, make their own decisions, and sometimes we cannot influence to a very large extent. So that's where our role is. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Raj. I think I know the AAT initiative. They do have is it Zimmerman, that lady there? Yeah, I know what they do. All right, let's get gender balance a bit. I'll come through to you.
Oh, hello. Oh, my name is Manisa. Oh, I just want to find out about the 2014 deadline. Firstly, I want to find out what informed that date to say everyone must get a clean audit by 2014? Because now, from what I understand, the municipalities are not the same. Like Mhlawuyaling and Durban do not have the same requirements. But now there's this blanket date to say 2014. Was there any analysis that was done before, or any feasibility study to say that everyone can comply to this deadline?
Or was it Ayanda's dream?
Or was it just Ayanda's dream?
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Msibi, I'll leave that one to you because you can answer with authority how we arrived at 2014 as the Auditor General. And there's another question down here. Let's deal with this side and move over to the other province.
Good day, my name is Martie van Rensburg. I want to ask a question around a ICU or an intensive care unit for municipalities that does want to turn around. I had a recent experience where I think we came to closed doors, both at national level from Treasury as well as provincial Treasury. I know the stick needs to be there to say if you don't get a clean audit, if you don't get that, you will not get additional financial assistance. But reality is something is not turned around in maybe 1 year's time. And I think we need to think about how do we put that ICU for municipalities together.
All right. I'll give it to you, not because I want you to, but it looks like you might be running, not an ICU, maybe high care, but for 3 municipalities, you know. Okay, let's move over. I think we're going to close this because I like the questions and that, but time doesn't like me or you. It doesn't hate you either, but just keep going.
Hi, I'm Lerato. I just want to ask a question about Vision 2014. And I'm confused because now listening to Skalk, we have Vision 2003. We're looking back now 10 years ago in terms of what we have achieved. My understanding of a vision, we're looking what we're going to achieve and what we've set ourselves to achieve by 2014. So I think maybe we really want to keep to the issues. What is going to happen in 2014? Why is it not happening if it's not going to happen? Yeah. And then number 2 is the issue of consultants. I don't think I think it's a non-event. If you want to be a government, you're going to forever you're going to always need consultants. Consultants are specialists. It's like hiring a surgeon and you're saying that you want to know how to be a surgeon after that project. You know, consultants are there to specialize. If you want to know how to do the work yourself, then you need to go to university and train yourself. It doesn't take one project to upskill an individual.
Except you hear when he talks about blind use of consultants, that some of the functions are performed that could be performed by an in-house, and they are not even leading to capacity improvement. They're just cannibalizing. Effectively, you're taking money out that you could be hiring a full-time person for, and you're hiring a consultant. Okay, please go ahead, Ashley.
My question is just around accountability. I think clean audit really is about holding someone accountable for your problems that you got in a municipality. And I don't see it coming from a municipality, from the MFMA. What can we do? I mean, from a government perspective to hold people accountable, because at the end of the day, that's public funds. It's you and I tax money that's been plowed into consultants coming in, and problem is not getting solved. How can we actually hold people accountable for their actions?
All right. I'm going to give you 2 minutes, Ayanda, because these are going to be available, right, electronically. I'm looking at the 2 presentations that's still to follow, and then I want to give everybody here 30 minutes to 30 seconds to a minute to make closing comments. But please, just share with us that slide that I think could summarize a whole lot of things for us.
Okay. Thank you, Program Director. Here's the first one. You need to create a positive environment where the management, the board, the audit committee can have a sound relationship with the AG. Often, we bash the AG, we don't listen to what they have to say, and we have a preconceived view of what things should be like. And that hinders progress. Invest in governance. I don't think we do enough. In fact, I think we are investing in rubber stamping at this point in time, not proper governance. Follow through with consequences. That we don't see much of. We see the enrons, we see the big issues, but how many CFOs do you know who are in jail as a result of the fruitless and wasteful expenditure? Report truthfully. I think that's self-explanatory. Attract and retain skilled people. Also, combined assurance was put into perspective yesterday. At this point in time, it's a document. It's a white paper. Looks good, but it has no implementation really in local government. There's a repeat there. Here's something I'm trying for my own office. I'm looking at a program where I could exchange employees. Let's learn some of those skills from the people who are doing it. It's still being crafted, but I'm sure we'll perfect it soon. Plan for the audits. It works. Improve reliance on internal audit. How many of you, audit committee chairs, members who are here, have received a certificate from the Institute of Internal Audit that your internal audit function, their files are up to scratch? No hands.
Okay, there you go.
Is there a hand?
No, I'm saying there you go.
Oh. Colleagues, management does not review. At this point in time, what we see is things that are based on pay as you go. It's based on hope that they will not pick it up. Management does not review. I don't know what they are doing, but they are not reviewing. We end up spending sleepless nights reviewing financials and picking up mistakes which should not have been in those financial statements. I think on the positive side, you need to brag about what you are doing well in local government. At this point in time, it's doom and gloom. Something that sounds a little bit impractical, but it will help in the long run, is close every month like it's your year end. Every financial manager needs to be stressed around the 25th, but they are not. I believe with those in the short term, it will emerge. In fact, there was a question, when do you think? I think there is a vision that 2014 might not happen. Some are hopeful. Well, from where I'm standing, I think it's a bit of a dream, which may not be realized. But let's create an Operation Clean Audit 2018. Because at this point in time, if we don't shake some of these issues, we're going to be talking about why it hasn't worked again. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I think I always like it when somebody can summarize what their story in 2 slides. They just make it easier to share information. And okay, let me ask, Skalk, let me ask you first to answer the questions in your closing remarks, but I'm literally giving you a minute, please.
Thank you for that. No, I think in an ideal situation, a clean audit would start off doing the basics right. If you count your sheep every day, you will, at the end of the year, have the whole flock. Ethical leadership will certainly help. Management reviews, as already mentioned, will help you to deal with your irregular expenditure. You need to do the basics right, then you will eventually come to a clean audit. It is preferable that there is ethical leadership, that there's depth of governance, that there's functional oversight. But for practitioners, if you do the right things consistently, I believe it will contribute to a clean audit.
Mr. Msibi, I think there was a question directed at you in particular, and just in your closing remarks, the 2014, and I know I might seem to be obsessing on this, but it's still a good question. All right, let's ask, Councillor Naidu needs to leave. Let's start with her, because I was going to. Please, your closing remarks, if you may.
I think we need to continue to build a culture of clean governance. We must have a shared vision. That is now your municipal leadership, your political leadership, as well as the community, which is a key stakeholder when it comes to service delivery. So they also need to understand how it works, so that the demands are within this whole framework of the MFMA. But also, I think we need to take into consideration our rural municipalities. A lot has been said around skills. The issue around the reporting structures, we've adopted international standards in reporting. We need to still comply with that, that's very important. However, maybe simplified templates, etc. So people could then read the AFS much easier, to focus on the salient points. I think that's very important. And that's a challenge out here for all our professionals, to try and look at a framework that is a little bit more simplified within the governance structure, within compliance, etc. I think that's very important. That will become more realistic than in achieving this clean audit in 2014. Thank you.
Joey, let me just come to you. I'll rather give you the last word, Mr. Msibi, as well, because I think it actually works best, because this is your vision, 2014, and I've been obsessing.
I'm going to guarantee the country that 23% of the municipalities in the country will receive at least unqualified audit reports in 2014.
Right.
Done. Okay? And we will get maybe some clean ones. Probably about 20% of our municipalities will get clean audits by then. For me, there's a few key areas that we need to look at to be able to do that. And it's been our approach in the province which has helped us to get more unqualified audits than national and provincial departments that exist. So the first is to pin accountability where it rests. Okay? Your accounting officer is accountable, your CFO is accountable, your internal auditor is accountable, your audit committee is accountable, your mayor is accountable, your MPAC is accountable, your service providers that you outsource work to are accountable. So in KZN, if a service provider delivers asset management support to a municipality and they still get a disclaimer, we phone up the service provider and say, what did you do? You need to have institutional integrity, you need to have professional integrity, and you need to have personal integrity. And with that, you're going to change the culture, because everybody knows what needs to be done. The accountants know how to prepare financial statements and what needs to be done. Nobody needs to be taught those skills. It's about the right culture and the right attitude. And from there, the second element is that you must have consequences. The AG has said it. There are no consequences. In KZN, we are criticized. We are constantly in the media because we ensure that there are consequences. Our councillors of the municipalities that got disclaimer and qualified audits did not get the maximum of their upper limits in their remuneration. We might end up in court about that, but we'll fight that battle when we get there. Our CFOs, senior management and MMs in municipalities that got qualified and disclaimer audit opinions do not get performance bonuses because the political leadership demands it. that you will account properly. So that's the element of consequences. And then the other aspect is working at the root causes of the problems. You can't be saying, okay, we can't prepare reconciliations, and that's the reason why we could not get, an unqualified audit. And then the province goes in and says, okay, we'll do your recons for you. It's not going to work. It's not sustainable. The root cause is getting the right level of skill and the right capacity in that municipality to do that.
Where it is required.
So we need to do that. And then
Okay.
as a province, we just support strategically, and collaboration is critical to succeed. Collaboration at a provincial level and at a local level.
Right. I'm going to plant the ICU issue on your doorstep. Not that I say, but please try to answer that and make your closing remarks as well.
Okay, thank you very much. In terms of the ICU, I'll answer in terms of the programs that I do know exist. Certainly in KZN, I do know that the Provincial Treasury has got a municipal support program, which is basically a program where the Provincial Treasury deploys resources to go and do an assessment as a municipality. They work out a project plan based on the weaknesses that were found at the municipality, and they then deploy resources to go and help with the areas that were determined as being the critical areas where they needed capacity. I do know that the provincial COCTA has got a project that started last year, which is Operation Clean Audit, which is very much similar to what the Treasury is doing. However, it is the scope is much wider in that they are not only looking just at financial management, but they are looking at other areas in the municipality. I'm not too sure which province the lady is from.
Right.
And then I do know that a couple of years back, I'm not too sure, Skal can correct me, National Treasury used to deploy municipal finance experts at the municipalities, which were earmarked as needing that kind of assistance. And those experts would basically be at the municipality for a certain period, sometimes 12 months,
Right.
where they were helping the municipality. And there's all types of other engagements and support that are provided at provincial level between the Treasury and the Department of and COCTA. And then in closing, I think most of the best practice has been spoken about. I'm just going to talk about clean audits from an audit committee perspective. To basically say that certainly from having attended this conference, I have learned what the private sector is doing, the good things that they are doing. I do know that some of them are going to be a bit hard for us to implement at local government, looking at the area that we're in. However, in terms of the good audit committee, we have spoken about the composition of the audit committees. For starters, for an audit committee to work and deliver on the requirements and the duties of the audit committee, it needs to be composed to talk directly to, in terms of the MFMA, to the requirements as per Section 166, in terms of what has to be discharged by the audit committee. So you need to look at financial management expertise, you need to look at audit expertise, you need to look at performance management if that audit committee also looks at performance management. If there is no performance management specialist in that committee, then that committee is going to struggle with discharging its duties as far as making recommendations to council in terms of performance management. We need to look at the legal requirements in terms of the local government and whether we've got people who've got that expertise. And then over and above that, to not only look at the expertise, but to also, not just the composition, but also the expertise of the people who are being appointed into the committees, and whether their level of skill and experience will allow them to discharge on the duties that they have. And then lastly, to have basically synergy between the leadership structure the administration, being the accounting officer and management, and the governance structures to have that kind of synergy to achieve the vision that Councillor Naidu was talking about.
Thank you very much. And lastly, Mr. Msibi, your last word.
Thanks, Program Director. I think in conclusion, I would like to say, as an office, we responded strategically to Vision 2014, where we started analyzing audit outcomes in detail, having internal stakeholder, external stakeholder engagement at all levels, ministers involved, DGs, oversight committees. We also made sure that entities affected should have action plans that are aimed at addressing the negative audit outcomes, and we'll basically commit to those issues. And we're also emphasizing on issues around basic internal controls, daily, monthly disciplines that should support accurate reporting, whether you talk of financial statements or performance reporting.
All right.
We will carry on doing that. But in terms of responding to how the Vision 2014 was informed,
right.
I can basically say it was a 5-year vision that was launched in 2009 by the late Minister Shikega to say whatever assessment that was made in terms of directing government to that level. But how was 2014 as a target date informed? I can really not answer as...
it could just be the 20 years of the new democratic government couldn't be still talking about clean audit. But thank you very much for coming through. Ayanda Kanana, the municipality expert, Mr. Msibi Vusi from the Auditor General's Office, from the Accountant General Office, Carl Human, Joey, your surname? Krishnan, from the provincial, from Kokta, and Nosipo Mkunu from, well, we can't say where she's from because she's here in the capacity as the High Care Municipality Expert, Audit Committee Specialist. Thank you very much to Thomas Sasa. We'll just give him some tokens of appreciation, a round of applause.